is News Conference Extra with Conan Nolan.
Good morning and welcome to News Conference Extra, a special segment of Today in LA Weekend. Joining us is Kristen Welker, host of Meet the Press, which airs every Sunday morning at 8 o'clock. Kristen, nice to see you. Listen, the way it has played out to me is that the president went to war with Iran. He thought it would take days, maybe a few weeks. We all thought, well, maybe he's right. It didn't. Then the defense secretary says they don't have a navy anymore. We've gotten rid of their military. We own the sea. We own the sky. But then there was the military capability on the part of the Iranians as we started again to lose service personnel. There was this memo of understanding for a deal. It looked like we gave them everything they wanted, billions of dollars in investment, unfreezing their assets. They could control the Strait of Hormuz at least for a period. And now we're back at war again. And I don't know if people have gotten to the point of understanding what this may mean. What is the sense that you're getting in Washington as to how long this is going to last?
Well, I think you capture one of the big aspects of this moment, which is the uncertainty. Conan, the fact that President Trump said this war was going to last for a matter of weeks, he said 5 to 6 weeks maybe. Now here we are in the 5th month. It's quite extraordinary if you think about it. And the fact that they did seem to be engaging in negotiations, which have all but stalled, and the shifting tone that we're hearing from the Secretary of State, for example, who signaled this week he does not think Iran is serious about negotiating the deal, and President Trump himself, who had for weeks been saying Iran wants a deal, and then this week saying actually he doesn't think that they want a deal. And so, Conan, it's not clear how this ends. It's not clear whether there is the possibility for a negotiated settlement, or will the president escalate this war in order to bring it to an end? Will that include, for example, putting U.S. forces on the ground? This war, I don't have to tell you, you and I talk about it week after week, deeply unpopular. I think we're at 69% in the latest poll saying that they disapprove of President Trump's handling of this war. And so all of that creating growing concerns within the Republican Party, Republicans who are very eager for the president to bring this war to an end. But I talked to a senior administration official, Conan, this week, who described the president as steadfast in his belief that this war is the right thing, despite campaigning against getting the United States involved in foreign wars. And so it's just not clear how this comes to an end, Conan.
Right. I mean, if you look on social media, and I'm not suggesting that there's any truth to this, but the perception is that in an odd way, the Iranians are winning this. That when it comes to the president says they want a deal. Apparently, no, they don't want a deal. And he says, I want a good deal. Apparently, he just wants a deal, some way to stop this and to get and extract the nation out of this. The Iranians are in no hurry, and they know there's an election in 90 days.
Well, and it raises the question, are the Iranians waiting out President Trump, waiting for these midterms to be over? And the fact that there is so much confusion about who in Iran is actually in charge, who's making the final call in Iran? Is it the supreme leader? Is it the IRGC? Are they communicating with each other? And when you talk to those familiar with the negotiations, they point to exactly that the negotiators will enter the room with one set of facts and understanding of what's been agreed to, and then hours later, all of that changes, presumably because more voices have gotten involved. And so that question that looms so large over all of this, Conan, did the United States underestimate the Iranians' capacity and ability to wait this out?
Right. I should say it was actually 100 days on Sunday out from the midterm elections. We're running out of time, but the Democratic Party has its own problems. There's this war within the party taking place. What specific races this fall are you looking at? Because you have the establishment Democrats. We have a race for mayor here in Los Angeles, which is very much an element of that. A progressive DSA candidate against an established Democrat in Karen Bass. What races are you looking at specifically?
There are a number of them, but let's take a few that are at the forefront. You have to think about Michigan, in addition to the mayoral race there in California. You have to think about Michigan, Conan. They have their primary coming up on August 4th. Of course, one of the biggest races where you have this battle playing out between progressives and moderate candidates, where you have Abdul Al-Sayed, who's the progressive candidate, facing off against Haley Stevens. Al-Sayed has earned the endorsement of big names like Bernie Sanders, AOC, Congressman Ro Khanna, and you have Mike Rogers, the Republican, saying he would welcome Al-Sayed winning because effectively making the case he doesn't think he can win in a purple state. That's the big question for Democrats right now. Can these more progressive candidates win in swing states? Another big race we're watching in Maine, where you had scandal-plagued Graham Plattner dropping out of the race. Troy Jackson poised to step in, but someone who is holding the progressive mantle, will he be able to get this race over the finish line? He's trying to unseat Senator Susan Collins, who's no stranger to a tough fight, who knows how to win in the home stretch. And so the question, have Democrats jeopardized that race by backing a progressive candidate? So those are some of the big questions, I think, looming large, the big races that we'll be watching. But there are so many of them, Conan, and it's going to be, I think, one of the big questions for Democrats in these midterm elections. And the big question, of course, for Republicans in the midterms, will Iran drag down their chances of being able to defeat these candidates? Conan?
We've run out of time. I see you have UN Ambassador Mike Walls, Senator Mark Kelly on the show, Steve Kornacki on some of the polling, and very quickly, a Meet the Moment segment. With
co-anchor of today's show, Chanel Jones. We are going to talk to her about her new book, as well as, of course, her journey losing her beloved husband, Uche, her journey of grief and healing, and just her powerful message. It's really a fascinating conversation. I learned a lot, Conan.
It's the most important program of the week, Meet the Press. Thank you very much, Kristen Welker, for joining us.
Thanks, Conan. Great to be with you, as always.
NBC4's news conference program is preempted at 9 o'clock. We will be back on August the 9th. Meet the Press is at the top of the hour. I'm Conan Nolan. Have a great Sunday.